Beast Games. Last week we talked about Beast Games. We kind of talked about the first couple episodes and how we felt about them. I want to talk about the third episode and also the fact that IGN reviewed it and they fucking trashed it. Like, they hated it.
Oh, wow.
And Jimmy actually responded to that review, which we'll talk about as well.
Yeah.
And we talked about the third episode and some of the controversy. I've gone a little bit more in depth and learned about it. So let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it.
First of all, episode 3. You haven't seen it yet, right?
I haven't seen it. I'm going to watch it.
It was just basically the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
From before we get into the IGN review, I like it.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, I've got problems with MrBeast. I do. And I even have, there's definitely some valid stuff with the episode 0, which, okay, the controversy that happened where like medications weren't properly given, there was like a bunch of lawsuits and stuff, was done on episode 0. So episode 0 is something that went out before, like right as the show dropped on his YouTube channel, and it was 2,000 contestants. So it was basically, I didn't notice the last episode, but they did an episode 0 where it was 2,000 contestants, and they eliminated 1,000 people in that first episode, and then, which is on his YouTube channel, and then those 1,000 contestants moved on to Beast Games.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so in that 2,000 people, it was in like Vegas, I'm pretty sure, they had a lot of situations. They had some stuff go down.
Yeah.
Didn't end up all going to plan. Otherwise, it was pretty good. But yeah, so I don't know. I do think there is very valid stuff that went wrong and that they should have prepared for and things like that. I do also think that it was like an unprecedented amount of people, never really been done before, so it is kind of hard to prepare for something that's never been done before. Yeah. But that being said, it is their responsibility to take care of those things. But also, everyone did get $2,000 for showing up. That is something that, if we didn't know last episode we were talking about, everyone got $2,000 just for being there.
Okay.
Which is a lot of money for 2,000 contestants.
Dang. Yeah.
And yeah, anyways, so let's look at this IGN review because I think it's kind of wild. A lot of people have been like reading it and talking about it and just kind of.
Is this like a review, like TV review? Something?
I don't honestly even know what IGN is, but they review this.
Read it.
It's an article.
Yeah.
So they didn't become the biggest YouTuber in the world because of charisma, cleverness, or creativity. What? The new Prime Video series, MrBeast Games, makes it abundantly clear that he has none of those qualities.
Wow. Dang, they trashed him in like.
They trashed him so hard in this review. The creator is trying to translate the style, stunts, and back-padding generosity of his YouTube channel into a longer-form project, but the results, which involve him vamping along while 1,000 contestants compete in so-so games for a grand prize of $5 million, proves his near ubiquity. What the hell does that mean? Online is merely triumph of spectacle. Basically, they're saying the whole thing is spectacle and there's nothing else to it. And then Beast Games resembles MrBeast Video and how it relies on constant reminders that what you're watching is, quote, wild, when it in reality is entirely wearisome. The MrBeast formula involves frying attention spans by throwing plenty of annoyingly loud yet empty escalations at the viewer. The same is true on the way Beast Games hits you different over the head with refreshers about what's unfolding right in front of your eyes as contestants rally together to shoot a ball into a giant cup. The two first episodes are completely adverse kind of tension that the reality competitions earn by, say, letting us get to know the contestants or not hopping from shot to shot, the scene energy, teenager downing their first Red Bull. What is they talking about? First Red Bull. One of Donaldson's YouTube breakthroughs involved a 17-hour marathon where he recited the name Logan Paul 100,000 times, establishing a pattern that carries over to Beast Games. During doing the most in terms of volume while doing the least when it comes to actual entertainment value. I don't know about all of this.
I mean, like, just based on, like, watching, like, the first 2 episodes, like, I mean, he does, it seems like they do over-dramatic some stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, that's what you do.
This is the craziest thing ever done in television history.
Yeah.
And they do that, for sure.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, honestly. Too. I mean, like, look, it's also, I get what they're saying about, like, how you don't really have time to breathe and, like, get to know specific contestants. I think that's fair, honestly. I think that is the one criticism that I've seen so far that I do agree with. Like, because there's 1,000 people and they're limiting so many all the time, like, they'll give you a flash of somebody and then they'll be like, see them say something or do something, and then it cuts to someone else and it's just completely different. And it's like, it is hard to get to know people. But I think as the show goes on, the people are cutting down Episode 2 had a pretty good cliffhanger, and episode 3 paid off pretty well. And then episode 3 was kind of intense, actually. There was like, it was like a fucking, people were crying like crazy.
Yeah, wait, no, but I did see some people crying when they were doing the, like, people voluntarily having to leave. Like, there was some of that, I think. And then, like, the cup challenge.
Dude, in episode 3, they, like, all get locked in a box. With 3 people get locked in a box together. And, like, there's, like, hundreds of boxes. And one has to leave. And so it's like fucking crazy, actually. This one guy was pissing me off, and you can kind of get attached to certain people.
Yeah.
They do form certain stories as the show goes on. There was this guy, and there was 2 guys, they were brothers, and this girl, and they were like, "You're gonna leave." They were talking to the girl, they're like, "You're gonna leave." And then she was like, "I don't want to leave," and she was fucking crying and shit. And they were like, "All right." And one of the guys was like, all right, we'll figure something out, we'll play a game. And then fucking the other guy, they had agreed, and then the other guy was like, "I'm not gonna do it." And then like the girl was like crying. She was like, "Fuck, we're gonna all get eliminated. Like, I'm not gonna go. This is fair." And then the one guy was like, "All right, we'll just play the game between us 2, and he won't play." And then they did, and she lost, and they walked out, and they were like, "Yeah, we were talking back and forth the whole time secretly. Like we were like they like strategically got her out." It was like so fucked up.
That's crazy.
She was sitting there handcuffed to the wall because she got eliminated, crying her eyes out, and they're like, "We fucking got him." And I was like,
God.
I hate these 2 guys.
That's
They
crazy.
suck.
Damn, that's insane.
So that was interesting to me. There was also some other situations that I thought were wild or interesting or, story driven. I thought was pretty cool. Okay, let's read more of this, and then we'll talk more about it. We'll talk about MrBeast's response to all this and how it's been pretty well received otherwise. And eerily similar to when Donaldson recreated Netflix Squid Game for a 2021 video, missing the entire point of the dystopian series instead of positioning the prospect of desperate people pitted against each other as something aspirational. In terms of like the dystopian nature of it, I do kind of agree. Like, it is kind of crazy. We talked about this last episode, but like to see people just like crying their eyes out because they lost the chance to like make a life-changing amount of money, and then it cuts to someone going, "Yeah!" And then it cuts back to someone like, "I just lost my house. I left my job for months to try to win money, and I fucked up." And it's just like, it is kind of insane. So I do agree that like that is crazy. And I do agree with the Netflix thing, like, or the Squid Game thing. Like, I don't know if you watch Squid Game. Okay, did you watch
the dub version?
Yeah, I watched the dub version too. Season 2 is out, by the way. I haven't seen it yet, but I might watch it. Yeah, so Squid Game, he posted a video. Squid Game is all about like these poor people who do this thing to get a chance to win money, and they all like die except for one person, and it's like super intense. And MrBeast was like, "All right, we're gonna do that, but we're gonna just like..." So he did kind of miss the point. I do agree with that, but I don't know if I don't know. I feel like Beast Games overall is kind of just fun. I thought it was kind of fun, and it was kind of like interesting, and it's kind of cool to. And I also watched Colin and Samir did a video where they went and they like a documentary behind the scenes of Beast Games, and I feel like it kind of gave me a little bit of perspective. Like, there's a lot of creative people working on it. There's a lot of creative people, like a lot of people, massive team. And I really respect the production of it. I really respect like a lot of people that worked on it, and they did a really good job. I feel like they did a really good job.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people, MrBeast like met with like everybody.
Oh, really?
Beforehand, not all at once, but like 9 people at a time. He was like talking to them, sat with them for like a few minutes, and then moved on. And I don't know. I feel like overall the production was pretty good. Obviously, not disregarding episode 0, where shit went down and things didn't go to plan.
Yeah.
But otherwise, going forward from that, and he also addressed the controversy in that video. Like, he was talking, a lot of people were like, "What do you have to say about all the stuff coming out about episode 0?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, things didn't go to plan, obviously, but also like we gave NDAs to everyone. So the only people that are speaking out legally are the ones who are in the lawsuit, and the people who had good experiences can't speak out because of their NDAs. And yet something sinister lurks beneath the surface of this disposable distraction." Jesus Christ. While some of this, yes, has to do with the concerning allegations of sexual harassment, chronic mistreatment, and more, a cast, which I'm pretty sure is talking about episode 0 specifically, which is pretty fucked up. Yeah. Several cases ended up hospitalized, while others reported suffering physical and mental complications. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Okay, here's the verdict. Beast Games is a reality show that tries and fails to translate the style of popular YouTuber MrBeast videos into a longer form reality show. It is largely dull, without much of anything to get invested in, relying on constantly shouting at us about the stakes, while frantic editing slices everything into pieces. It is what you'd expect from an ever-hustling spectacle merchant like MrBeast, but that only makes it all the more exhausting to take in. That is pretty brutal, but I get where they're coming from for sure, and I don't fully disagree, but I think it's like, as the average person will look at it and be like, this is fun. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I really think about it. Like, sure, like maybe a critic, like these people are going to look at it and be like, this is like weird or bad or whatever. But the average person that like watches MrBeast or doesn't watch MrBeast, or like my mom was watching it with me and she was like interested, and like the average person's just going to watch it and be like, this is just a fun show that breaks a lot of records and is cool.
Yeah.
And I think also they have more seasons to come, so they'll probably learn from it. But let's see what MrBeast responded to this with. So he tweeted this. Someone tweeted at him. He was responding to a lot of tweets. I was going through his replies, and he tweeted a lot of things, just like responding to people who were like, hey, what about this and that about the show? And someone said, just watched episode 2 of Beast Games, and at IGN either got paid to give MrBeast 2 out of 10 or just did it for shock value. This show is entertaining as fuck. And MrBeast replied to that and said, yeah, sad one person who doesn't like me can just label something 1,000 people poured their lives into a 2 out of 10 when it's clearly not. The show, as future episodes drop, is phenomenal, especially once we get to the number of contestants down and you get to know them more.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. I mean, that's a fair response because like you put a lot of work into it, and then you just have some columnist or whatever just like give it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, because like obviously, like thousands of people were working on this, thousands of people that were on the show, most of them had pretty good experiences, and like I do think that's not worth a 2 out of 10 overall, in my personal opinion.
Good.
My personal opinion is like it's kind of just a fun show that I'm gonna keep watching.
Yeah.
Despite my problems with MrBeast, I'm gonna keep watching it.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of a fun little show, and I respect the spectacle of it. I respect people who worked on it.
The show's good. I'm gonna catch up on the 3rd episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more next week when the 4th episode drops.